innocent Iraqis and call it peace and lie about WMDs and put al-Qaeda in Libya and slaughter 40, 50,000 people and just mow little kids and women down, some of them hacked up with machetes, and the UN's doing that in other countries. Obviously, then, the sky is the limit. We're not safe. What did Ron Paul say in the debates a month ago or so when they were making fun of him for not wanting the government to be able to kill U.S. citizens without trial, without indictment, just, because they're supposedly al-Qaeda? That's setting a precedent. And remember, behind the scenes, it's all for veterans, gun owners, conservatives, libertarians. Ron Paul looked at the media, people asking questions. He said, you could be next. You're in danger. Don't you under... Ron Paul is a wise man. A wise man. What's a wise man? But, you know, what was common sense 100 years ago, 200 years ago in the Western world, or anywhere else for that matter? What were basic universal rules of chivalry and common sense? If you're going to have a war, it's between the men. Keep the women and children out of this. Because people have seen the horror of children targeted. But see, that's a tool of the New World Order. Surrender or we kill your kids. And there have been a few armies that have done that. Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, the Romans during their decline, the Israelites, the Aztecs. The Aztecs took you and your whole family prisoner for sacrifice. So we are really going back to the Stone Age here. And men think it's manly. I've seen people say, I don't care how many kids we kill. Yeah. I'll guarantee you, most of those effeminate men who think that it's tough and warlike to be into that, I'll guarantee you that if they were there and actually saw a child have their brains blown out, let's say a 3-year-old, that it would screw them up for life and should. These are weak people. It's weak when you don't have empathy for others. It's weak when you don't study history and aren't informed. It's pathetic. You are psychic, spiritual, physical slaves, and the New World Order has taken its time diseasing America because we were enemies of the globalists. We were enemies of this system, and so it took us over to use us to take over the planet. Then we get the blame, and then we are completely destroyed. So the New World Order hates you a lot more than they hate those Libyan children. And remember why your life is about to get so much worse. Because we are to be judged. Justice is right. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Silver Lungs generator. Now you can produce pure and endless colloidal silver and deliver the solution directly into the bloodstream by breathing the solution through the lungs. The respiratory system is the first line of defense for airborne pathogens and viruses. The Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced nano-silver solutions and also delivers the silver nanoparticles instantly into the bloodstream. With continued legislation threatening the sale of nano-silver products, you can now produce pure and endless colloidal silver with the Silver Lungs generator. Very easy to follow, step-by-step instructions are provided, making production fast and simple. Go to www.silverlungs.com today and learn more about the breakthrough technology of the Silver Lungs generator. That's www.silverlungs.com. A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, my friends, I'm going to do my best to really speak to the state of our country, the Western world, the greater planet, and the peoples that live upon it. I told you in the last hour I saw a video yesterday, one of many I've seen over the years, in the hometown of Gaddafi from the bombardment, one of countless videos out there, with what looks like about a 3-year-old child with the lower mandible or the lower jaw completely blown off, torn down to their neck, with the little tongue hanging out, flopping around. And the horrible, bloody scream coming out of the hole in their throat. And my father worked at MD Anderson Cancer Research Institute in high school and in college some, part of an advanced student training program. And he said the most spooky thing he ever saw was the people who wore drapes over their faces that were there that just had the upper mandible. He said that's the spookiest thing he's ever seen in his life. And I see all these even older women, saw like a 70-year-old lady. She looked like she's about 70 with a handbag the other day with skulls all over it. And a lot of times folks like skulls, missing the lower mandible. I mean, you're going to be dead for trillions of years. Why do you, are you so quick to get in the grave? It's because they've been mind-washed in death and violence on television so much people can't differentiate the real thing from fiction. And that's been done scientifically. Edward Bernays, 80-plus years ago, wrote about this process of desensitization. So that when your neighbor's being drug off to a FEMA camp or they shoot some veteran at an Occupy Wall Street and he's in critical condition for no reason in the head with a rubber bullet at close range, knowing full well it would do that, you're like, so what? So that when you're being torn limb from limb, when you're having your pension fund taken, when you're being abused, nobody's going to care about you either. The Romans were masters at that during their decline. They would have the big gladiatorial forum. It started out as secret rituals hundreds of years before. When really powerful Romans died, they would have a few slaves fight to the death at the burial and then bury them with generally a military leader. It was a human sacrifice ritual. And then it turned into more wealthy people putting on private parties of killings. But then the Romans wrote handbooks on the big giant coliseums and taxes that were paid to fund the gladiatorial schools all over that area of the world, the known world at the time, to have daily games. They even extincted a lot of the lions that lived in that area and tigers, and shipping in elephants for these complex games, and flooding the Colosseum for ship battles. Sometimes in a day, hundreds and hundreds would die. Very similar to the Aztecs in their ritual sacrifice, with groups they'd captured and dominated, but sometimes their own people as well. So civilization, those that are civilized recognize that this is bad and that you want to stay away from that because society degenerates. But once you let psychopaths get in control, they then want to train the general public to be psychopaths and to enjoy death. That's why Homeland Security admittedly had grants for Kiefer Sutherland's 24 and gave it awards on C-SPAN. Because by the end of the series, he would torture someone's small child in front of them to get answers because the end justified the means. So this is how they get weak-minded people who are twisted, but so weak-minded they think they're good, kind of lower-level evil people. That's how the real hardcore psychopaths and the masochistic psychopaths create a different structure of servants under them. Is that they bathe us in torture is good, secret arrest is good, violence is good, dehumanize your women, dehumanize your boys, put your 7-year-old daughter in a hooker outfit and let her go to school. All of this is scientifically done so that we will be weak and easily controlled. And when you get a sick priest class in charge throughout society, that's what the globalists call it, the ruling manipulative priest class, they always manifest the same thing. Public human sacrifice, war, death, disease, pain, degeneration, and final collapse. But the New World Order has said their party will go on forever because they're going to use technology to prop it up so that improvement in their world will be trampling on people, society running down, always dumber, less language, more brutish, more ugly. And they write love letters in their philosophies that we've quoted here about how wonderful it is. And Stalin wrote about it, Lenin wrote about it. Now they've got top transhumanists now that we've read their quotes about how we're going to go on willing. We may just destroy the earth because it'd be the most powerful thing ever done and kill ourselves. That's like Nero, total demonic spoiled brat, you know, finally committing suicide after he'd burned Rome for fun. I mean, you must know your enemy to understand them. You must know your enemy to be able to confront them. You must know your enemy if you have any hope of ever defeating these people. And what a truly sick joke to have Barack Obama sold as a man of peace, and they're launching total war all over the world. The UN went into Ivory Coast, killed tens of thousands with the rebels, admittedly hacking up men, women, and children to take over the government. Didn't even call him a tyrant, just did it a few months ago. Gaddafi, not perfect, but building up Libya, building up the rest of Africa. There's no humanitarian thing going on. There's Western-backed al-Qaeda rebels attacking. They call them peace activists. There's a 6-month bombardment that is not a war, that would last days, not weeks. And then you've learned there's 40 to 50,000 innocents killed, and even mainstream media admits as a footnote, oh, yeah, the al-Qaeda rebels out of Saudi Arabia and other places, they don't like black folks. There's been a big history of racism out of some of those countries on record. You know, they ran the slave trade even before folks in Europe picked it up. And they are going around hacking up blacks, including men, women, and children systematically, because in the southern area, blacks are the majority and seen as pro-Gaddafi. And there's mass graves everywhere of hacked up kids. But see, none of that matters, because we're the good guys. And so if al-Qaeda works for us, that is the people that run our country, but we see it as us. Notice we say, well, America's not, perfect, but, we're the best there is. But is this America that's taken over our system? No, it's not. And so now al-Qaeda is good, but you get the internal police documents. They're being trained. Returning veterans are enemies, gun owners, conservatives, libertarians. They're training to take on people that don't like the Federal Reserve, while the government works with al-Qaeda. Now, I'm going to play this clip, and it's introduced with Obama on Jay Leno saying that Libya is a recipe for success. And this is the globalist recipe. They go have a rebel group start attacking. Then the media demonizes the country that's being attacked by the Ponzi secret army rebel force. And then when that collapses, oh, there's a humanitarian disaster, Syria, wherever, we've got to go in. And then they just level the whole place and then call it a great success with smart bombs. And the entire Air Force is moving towards a conversion where they're even got the regular technicians now training to drive drones. And they're saying they're going to use them against Americans here. And they say, we'll kill 200 people to kill one bad guy, because they say it's a bad guy. But if a suicide bomber blew up something to kill, quote, one